Hello, everybody. This is Ajay from iQuanta-Patna. How you guys doing? Good? Not so good? Well, don't despair. If you work hard, very soon you'll find yourself in one of the business schools in the country, and you'll be doing well over there, and you'll find a new career. And once you complete that education, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank because you'll be making very good money and you'll be a person of reckoning. Life will never be the same again. But before that, let's get back to the grind. Today, we'll be talking about reading comprehension. We'll deal with the passage and then answer the questions. So here we go. This passage, it's historical, I would say. It's about the Mayan culture, the Mayan civilization. They were very smart people way back in time. And they were mathematicians, they were astronomers. They used to read the movement of celestial bodies in the sky, and they used to make their predictions. So let's get to know them better, and let's see what the passage entails. So I'll read it out for you. For the Maya of the classic period, who lived in the southern Mexico and Central America between 250 and 900 CE, the category of persons not coincident with human beings as it is for us. Now here, they are talking about a period 250 and 900 CE. CE is common era. It is the same as AD, but it is secular. That means it's not related to any religion as AD. AD is related to Christianity and a domino, that's what it stands for, and it means the year of the Lord. CE is the common era, a secular term. Here we are talking about Mayans of the classic period, and here they are saying that the category of person not coincident with human beings as it is for us. That is, human beings were persons, but other non-human entities could be persons too. In order to explain the slippage of categories between humans and persons, I examined a very specific category of ancient Maya images found painted in scenes on ceramic vessels. I sought out instances in which faces, some combination of eyes, nose, and mouth, are shown in inanimate objects. Now, what the person is saying here is in the Mayan culture, there was, as we have this distinction of living and non-living, humans are person and non-living are not considered person, but in their case, it was different. They used to consider non-living as person at the same time. So basically the categories were not that distinct, and there was a slippage, as it says. Now, if we go forward, consider my iPhone, which needs to be fed with electricity every night, swaddled in a protective bumper, and enjoys communicating with other fellow phone beings. Does it have personhood, if at all? Because it is connected to me, drawing this resource from me as an owner or source. For Maya, who did have plenty of other communicating objects, if not smartphones, the answer was no. Non-human persons were not tethered to specific humans, and they did not derive their personhood from a connection with a human. It's a profoundly democratizing way of understanding the world. Humans are not more important persons. We are just one of many kinds of persons who inhabit this world. Now here, there's a comparison of iPhone to persons. But basically what they are saying is iPhones cannot be persons because there are certain requirements. They had certain requirements for anything to be persons. We'll read that later. But here the example is about iPhone, which is drawing electricity and is also attached to, tethered to the person. And is it human? Not necessarily. So as we go along, we'll learn more. The Maya saw personhood as activated by experiencing certain bodily needs and through participation in certain social activities. So there we go. Maya culture advocated that a person can be, even non-living can be a person if it has bodily needs, and at the same time there's participation in certain social activities. That means it is related to the community. It's giving something to the community. There's communicating with the community. So, which in the iPhone case, it's not correct. For example, among the faced objects that I examined, persons are marked by personal requirements such as hunger, tiredness, physical closeness, and by community obligations, communication, interaction, ritual, observance. In the images I examined, we see, for instance, faced objects being cradled in human arms. That means held closely, like, in human arms, like you hold a child very close to the body with both your hands. So that's what cradled means. So we see them speaking to humans. These core elements of personhood are both turned inward, what the body or self of a person requires, and outward, what a community expects of the person who are a part of it, underlining the reciprocal nature of community membership. So again, they are emphasizing, they are reiterating that any non-living object can be a person as long as it has the inward need as humans, hunger, tiredness, physical closeness. And the external thing, that is, it's related to the community, where there's participation and it's reciprocated in the same coin. So that's what describes a person in the Mayan culture. Furthermore, personhood was a non-binary proposition for the Maya. Entities were able to be persons while also being something else. The faced objects I looked at indicate that they continue to be functional, doing what objects do. A stone implement continues to chop, an incense burner continues to do its smoky work. Furthermore, the Maya visually depicted many objects in ways that indicated the material category to which they belonged. Drawing of the stone implement show that a person tool is still made of stone. One additional complexity, the incense burner, which would have been made of clay and decorated with spiky appliques representing the sacred cedar tree found in this region, is categorized as person, but also as a tree. With these Maya examples, we are challenged to discard the person-non-person binary that constitutes our basic ontological outlook. The porousness of boundaries that we have seen in the Maya world points towards the possibility of living with a certain categorizability of the world. So what it's saying is the binary and non-binary. The binary, there's people, humans, and non-living things. But here, non-binary, that means basically they are combining the two and basically saying that non-living things can also be persons if they have the, say, the characteristic of humans, like internal and external. And here, they are also talking about a third category where they are talking about the incense burner, which is decorated with the help of, say, spiky appliques from a ceiba tree. Ceiba tree was the sacred tree in their region that they considered very sacred. And there were different levels of, heavens for Maya. And depending on the tree, the roots, the stem, and the leaves, and basically it was related to the different levels of, heaven that they categorized. Also, it's saying that it's basically it's not looking at just two. Now they are also incense burner with a spiky decoration is also person and also a tree. So it's basically the third category here. So now we will answer the questions and see what we can do with it. Okay, question number 1. Which one of the following, if true, about the classic Maya would invalidate the purpose of the iPhone example in the passage? Like we were talking about the iPhone example, where it said that, getting electricity and also being tethered to the owner, does it make it a person? So it's invalidate the purpose. Options: the personhood of the incense burner and the stone chopper was a function of their usefulness to human. B. Classic Maya songs represent both humans and non-living objects as characters talking and interacting with each other. C. The clay incense burner with spiky applique was categorized only as a person and not as a tree by the classic Maya. And D. Unlike modern societies equipped with mobile phones, and the classic Maya did not have any communicating objects. Here, the one argument that we have, which would invalidate the purpose of the iPhone example here, is the personhood of the incense burner and the stone chopper was a function of their usefulness to humans. Here, iPhone also, it could be human if it was only dependent on the usefulness to humans, but it does not have the other characteristic that is responding to the or being reciprocal to the community needs. So basically, this one, if had it been only based on the usefulness, iPhone could have been termed as a person. So the answer is A. Which one of the following, if true, would not undermine the democratizing potential of the classic Maya worldview? Which one of the following, if true, would not undermine, this is where you have to pay attention, would not undermine the democratization or democratizing potential, of the classic Maya worldview? They believe that animals like cats and dogs that live in the proximity to human have a more clearly articulated personhood. Well, that is not actually correct. B, they understood the stone implement and the incense burner in a purely human form. Well, that does not undermine the democratizing potential of the classic Maya. While they believed in the personhood of objects and plants, they did not believe in the personhood of the rivers and animals. Well, actually, this is also not true because they considered anything that could reciprocate to the society and have their own needs as a person. So rivers and animals, basically the personhood of rivers and animals is in question here, which, as they say, it is not true, not believe in the personhood of rivers and animals. So basically, anything that had both the attributes were considered a person. Number 4, they depicted their human healers with physical attributes of local medicinal plants. Here we have a parallel drawn between humans and the objects or the plants here, because their human healers were they were depicted with the physical attributes of medicinal plants. So basically, they are creating an equal here, the human healers and the plant. So this is basically the answer to this question. Now, number 3, on the basis of the passage, which one of the following worldviews can be inferred to be closest to that of classic Maya? A tribe that perceives its hunting weapons as sacred person artifact because of their significance to their survival. This is not true. The futuristic society that perceives robots to be persons as well as robots because of their similarities to humans. This is also not the correct answer. This was not, say, one of the worldviews of Maya. C, the tribe that perceives plants as person plants because they form an ecosystem and are marked by needs of nutrition. This is a possible answer. So let's examine D. Tribe that perceives its utensils as person utensils in light of their functionality and bodily needs. So here, basically about utensils and functionality and bodily needs basically does not sum up the, the worldview, the Maya worldview. And the best answer would be C, a tribe that perceives plants as person plants because they form an ecosystem, basically creating their own nature there and basically staying alive like a person. And they have their own setup, like the system they have, the plants, and also are marked by human needs of nutrition, which is true. So here, the answer would be C. Now, the last one. Which one of the following best explains the additional complexity that the example of the incense burner illustrates regarding personhood of the classic Maya? Now, here we are talking about the additional complexity, that is the third category that came in when the incense burner was decorated with spiky appliques from a ceiba tree. And it was also considered a tree and also considered a person tool. So here, A, the example adds a new layer to the non-binary understanding of personhood by bringing in a third category that shares a dissimilar relation with the previous two. But here, it's the third category. It says a dissimilar relation with the previous two, but it is not true because it does have a relation with person and the plant. So it is one that is getting into the mix. So first one is not true. B, the example complicates the non-binary understanding of personhood by bringing in the sacred, establishing the porosity of the divine and the profane. Well, there's no distinction here as the divine and the profane, so this will be also not true. The example provides an exception to the non-binary understanding of personhood that the passage had hitherto established. It's not an exception to the non-binary because it is basically categorized as third one, which has a mix. It's into the mix. So that is also not true. The example adds a new layer to the non-binary understanding of personhood by bringing in a third category that shares a similar relation with the previous two. Here, this is correct because the third category also has connections to the person as well as the, non-living thing. So it is somewhere in the middle, which is having, characteristics of both. So in this case, D would be the right answer. So this is it, guys. I believe you must have understood most of it, and if you work hard, it'll get easier in the future. Thank you.